Good evening. You are watching the news on DBS TV. With the upcoming December 6 regional elections, the VINA division in the Adamawa region is going in for 25 divisional delegates out of the 900 nationwide. That will be the challenge the CPDM party would have to overcome by securing a victory led by Ishaga Dauda. Given that the party counts 98 councillors out of the 218 that make up the electoral college in the division, the party does not see her victory being achieved easily.
We know that is not easy for us. It will be very difficult, but we are very confident. Why we are confident now? We are confident because we think that we have the best candidates. Our political party make very serious to select the candidates. We will be the strong men, the strong women to convince electors to vote for us.
Reason why? They mobilize sons and daughters from the division during the launching of campaigns. Away from this, the CPDM party counts much on the experience of their candidates to bring about development in the division.
We have experience because in the past time I will be in several years a councillor at the municipal council. We have many competences in our list, many expertises. So we are very confident for that.
And so, the president of the Divisional Campaign Commission, Baba Amadu, reminded his militants of the expectations and orientations of the party hierarchy. He equally gave out recommendations to be followed throughout the 2 weeks of the exercise to seduce councillors from other political parties in the division. The sum of 5.6 million francs was collected and 12.4 million francs pledged, giving a total of 18 million francs as the budget to be used during the campaign. The meeting was attended by the CPDM regional president El Aj Mohamadu Abu Husa Manu. Over in Benue Division in the North region, the CPDM party equally launched their divisional campaign exercise to secure a landmark victory by scoring 100% during the December 6 regional election. For this dream to be realized, the personal representative of the president of the Regional Campaign Commission entrusted the task of convincing councillors in the division in the hands of CPDMs, section presidents, MPs and elites. These, he insisted, that should work in harmony and convince the electorate to participate massively so as to give the party the pride of place it deserves.
Our aim is to align all the voters behind the list of the CPDM in order to have the absolute majority at the end of the day of 6 December for the CPDM. And we want our people to work in peace and in friendly with all the other parties and to convince them to align behind the CPDM because the head of state, His Excellency Paul Biya, is finalizing the decentralization in Cameroon, and it is a great opportunity for us to be involved in this decentralization and to join our participation.
Given the political landscape of the division the party is facing, a major challenge during the election.
Have all the councillors in behind our list. This is the big challenge we have to tackle.
Although the party counts over 238 councillors in the division, they believe that political game knows no moderation and the question of gluttony is out of place. For that reason, they are prepared to confirm their domineering position in the upcoming elections. Aspiring political parties launched their campaigns last Saturday, November 21, across the regions, despite the boycott by opposition parties like the Social Democratic Front (SDF) and the Cameroon Renaissance Movement (CRM). The political battle is now left to a couple of other political parties like the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) that has kick-started campaigns in Maroua, Far North region, amongst others. With plenty of persuasion as the main strategy, the party is quite confident about its chances of getting the support needed from municipal councillors and the first and second chiefs of the region as needed to massively carry out the victory in the December 6th night of the election.
Thank you very much. I have to say that the CPDM party have national, regional and local, divisional and local strategy in order to get victory at the night of the 6th December. And I have to assure you, assure all our militants that we are doing our campaign. We'll do our best. Our campaign at the level, at the field, without any risk of defeat. We are going to this campaign to win all the 14 states of regional councils for the division of Diamare, and we have no doubt that the victory will be ours.
A military court in the Democratic Republic of Congo has handed a life sentence to militia commander Ntabo Ntaberi Sheka for war crimes including murder, sexual slavery, and child soldier recruitment. The crimes were committed in Congo's eastern province of North Kivu between 2010 and 2014. Amongst other things, Sheku and other military commanders like Séraphin Zitonda, who also received a life sentence, was found guilty of organizing raids in Walikale territory in mid-2010, during which 380 people, including children, were raped and 287 killed. The 2-year trial is a landmark for Congolese justice and brings rights groups, the United Nations said. The ex-warlord has managed to avoid arrest for 6 years before turning himself in to UN peacekeepers in 2017. The subsequent trial in the eastern city of Goma lasted 2 years. The head of the UN peacekeeping mission in Congo, Leila Zerougi, expressed, "This verdict is a source of immense hope for the many victims of the conflicts in the DRC. Their sufferings has been heard and recognized, and impunity is not inevitable." Gebretson Gebremichael, leader of the Tigray People's Liberation Front, on Monday, November 23, rejected the 72 hours ultimatum issued by the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed for the region of Tigray to surrender. He equally added that his people are ready to die defending their homeland. Abiy launched a military campaign against the Tigray People's Liberation Front on November 4 after a conflict erupted, accusing it of attacking 2 federal military camps in the northern region, as well as defying and seeking to destabilize his government. This, for over 3 weeks now, has left hundreds of people dead and about 40,000 have fled into neighboring Sudan. Calling for a rapid de-escalation of the conflict, the international community launched several mediation attempts. The African Union in particular appointed former Mozambican President Joaquim Chissano, Liberian Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, and South African Kgalema Motlanthe as special envoys. However, the UN Security Council today, Tuesday, held its first meeting on the country's Tigray crisis. The government of Guinea issued a press release on November 22 recapitulating the nationwide ban on public demonstrations as part of the country's coronavirus disease mitigation measures. The statement comes 3 days ahead of planned protests by opposition groups in various towns and cities across the country on Wednesday, November 25, against the results of the October 18 presidential election. The main march by supporters of opposition candidate Cellou Dalein Diallo was scheduled to be held in Conakry from Bessia International Airport to Palais du Peuple, but it is unclear whether the march will go ahead in defiance of government restrictions. A heightened security presence and localized transport disruptions are likely around planned demonstration sites in the medium term, with any unauthorized gatherings likely to be dispersed by security forces. In a year of tensions caused by Mr. Condé's candidacy for a third term, authorities have repeatedly banned opposition rallies. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared Condé the winner of the presidential election on October 24 with a 59.94% majority in the first round. However, the official results have been challenged by opposition groups, including Condé's main challenger, Cellou Dalein Diallo, who had earlier claimed to be ahead during early vote counting, prompting clashes between his supporters and security forces in Conakry. Civilians in Guinea are advised to monitor the situation, remain vigilant due to the threat of unrest and political violence, avoid the vicinity of demonstrations and political gatherings, avoid discussing politically sensitive topics in public or on social media, and heed to all directives issued by local authorities. In the Islamic Republic of Mauritania, former President Sidi Mohamed Ould Cheikh Abdallahi has died at the age of 82. The politician died at a private hospital in the country's capital, Nouakchott, on Sunday, November 22, after suffering heart complications, according to his family. Born in 1938, Abdallahi became the first democratically elected head of state in Mauritania in April 2007. The late president came to power after winning elections on April 9, 2007, before he was toppled by a military coup headed by former President Mohamed Ould Abdelaziz in August 2008. After the coup, he was placed under house arrest before reaching an agreement in the Senegalese capital Dakar, which allowed him to announce his resignation on June 27, 2009, and has since retired from politics. The late leader served in many government positions in the 1970s and 1980s, including as Minister of Economy in 1971 to 1978, and worked as a consultant to the Kuwait Fund for Development in 1982 to 1985. On Monday, November 23, Mauritania's presidency announced 3 days of national mourning after his death, which will include a national ceremony for the ex-president. Out of Africa, after claiming he won the November 3 presidential elections, US President Donald Trump has finally accepted defeat and recognizes President-elect Joe Biden as apparent president-elect. The US government gave the green light for President-elect Joe Biden's transition, acknowledging it was time for the General Services Administration to do what needs to be done. President Donald Trump, in a tweet, recommended U.S. General Services Administrator Emily Murphy and her team to do what needs to be done with regards to initial protocols for transition. This comes shortly after the battleground state of Michigan certified Joe Biden as the winner there. A growing number of Republicans had also acknowledged Biden's victory after being silent on Trump's claims of fraud. This means that Biden's team will now have access to funds, office space, and the ability to meet with federal officials to prepare for the swearing-in come January 20, 2021. Still in the USA, President-elect Joe Biden is building out his administration with several key picks for national security and foreign policy roles. Joe Biden has chosen Obama administration veteran Anthony Blinken for the top foreign policy job in the U.S. If nominated and confirmed, he would be a leading force in the incoming administration's bid to reframe the U.S. relationship with the rest of the world after 4 years in which President Donald Trump questioned long-time alliances. Biden has moved forward with plans to fill out his government, even as outgoing President Donald Trump refused to concede defeat, pursuing groundless legal challenges in several key states and dismissing the presidential transition process. John Kerry, a former Secretary of State, will lead the incoming administration's effort to combat climate change. Alejandro Mayorkas will be nominated as the Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. Biden is also expected to nominate another close aide, Jake Sullivan, as National Security Advisor, according to U.S. media, while Linda Thomas-Greenfield, a 35-year veteran of the Foreign Services, is expected to be named Washington's ambassador to the United Nations. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson set out new measures on Monday to replace a national lockdown to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic in England on December 2, strengthening a regional approach to reflect differences in infection rates. Johnson has been under pressure to scrap the lockdown from the lawmakers in his Conservative Party, where many have threatened to vote against any restrictions without more evidence of their effect in stemming down infections. The various regions of England will be allocated to their tiers, ranging from the lowest at Tier 1 to the highest at Tier 3 on Thursday. Tier 3 means bars, cafes and restaurants must remain shut except for takeaway services, and that households cannot mix except in public places outdoor. Trying to ease concerns among skeptics within his party, he said the measures will run until the end of March, when vaccines and wider testing might offer a way out of the crisis. Prime Minister Johnson said he was working with the Scottish, Welsh and Northern Irish executive on nationwide plans to briefly relax the rules at Christmas to allow families to get together, and details would be announced shortly. He urged the public to keep following the rules in the run-up to the festive season so as to make such a short relief possible. As efforts and competitions intensify across Europe to come out with an effective COVID-19 vaccine, British drugs group AstraZeneca and the University of Oxford say their jointly developed vaccine against COVID-19 has shown an average efficacy of 90% in trials. Britain's AstraZeneca said its vaccine for the novel coronavirus could be without any serious side effects, giving the world another important tool to halt the COVID-19 pandemic. Another dosing regimen showed 62% efficacy when given as 2 full doses at least 1 month apart, and the combined analysis from both dosing regimens resulted in an average efficacy of 70%. All results were statistically significant. AstraZeneca would have 200 million doses by the end of 2020, with 700 million doses ready globally by the end of the first quarter of 2021, Operations Executive Pam Cheng said on Monday. The company says the vaccine can also be distributed more easily because it can be kept at refrigerator temperature. That would make the AstraZeneca shot easier to transport and store globally, particularly in lower and middle income countries. That marks the end of the news for today. Thank you for watching. Do have a great evening in the company of our programs on DBS TV.